halos wala na nag-import ng rice dahil natatakot. Kasi nire-raid ni Congressman Tulfo.
Sa totoo lang po, napakapangit ng pataba pong ipinamimigay ng ng gobyerno po natin.
Nakausap ko maraming importer. Ayaw na naman muna mag-import. Dahil pinapatulpo ninyo eh.
Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated.
Nababahala kami, pataas ng presyo. Tama ka, Metro Manila. Palawan, tumataas na rin. Musunod dito. Bakit? Wala masyadong nagtatanim doon. Now, given the verbal assurances from NFA and the verbal information from NFA that they're doing something, then kayo din doon sa mga tables na pinakita ninyo, we practically understand the situation. Ano ba ang garantiya natin? Doon muna ako sa kabila. Ano ba yung maitulong namin sa inyo dito sa Kongreso? Like, ano ba yung gusto nyo amendment sa RTL? Ano ba yung ibang batas na gusto ninyong ipasa natin by next year dito? Kasi halos wala na nag-import ng rice dahil natatakot. Kasi nire-raid ni Congressman Tulfo. I'm not being funny, but katotohanan, karamihan sa nakausap kong mga importers, natatakot sila na pagbintangan na nag-hoard. No? So, nandito naman kami. We are at your service. Sana kung ano yung mga kailangan ninyo, tulad ng pag-amend ng RTL na yan, para kung yung meron kayo excess funds towards last quarter, i-convert natin yan to fertilizer, to invest na voucher ang pamigay nyo sa probinsya. Wala namang available fertilizer mabili doon. Meron, pero hindi yung tukma. Di ba? Sa rice, urea, NPK, or sa corn, 1620. Totoo, meron kayong voucher pinamimigay. Pero ilan lang yung supply doon sa maliliit na tindahan. So, naintindihan natin yung problema. So, we're expecting, Mr. Chair, sana ma-request natin yung DA, NFA, ano ba yung mga kailangan nilang tulong natin para magawa natin sa itong first quarter na opening natin sa next session. Para pag tumaas pa uli yung bigas by June, July, pag nag-100 yung bigas, kasama na tayo doon sa hindi tumulong sa kanila. Now, para matulungan natin sila, bigyan natin sa kanila on the first semester anong kailangan nilang batas para pasa natin sa Senado. Sala natin doon kay Cynthia Villar kung gusto niyang payagan niyang maamin yung RTL. Kasi baby niya yun eh. Di ba? Si Cleo? Kasi pag wala kaming ginawa, puro lang kami, sinabi ninyong ganito, pagkatapos tumaas pa yung presyo. Parang magbiginawa na kami, katulad nung, totoo po yung nakausap ko maraming importer, ayaw na naman muna mag-import. Dahil pinapatulpo ninyo eh. Sama pa si speaker. So, natatakot dahil, di ba? Confiscate, bigay sa mga mahihirap. Sana walang ganon mangyayari for next year. Si Cleo, kung ikaw yung sa rice industry development, inaasahan namin na after giving you all the tools in order to promote your industry, sana by June, July, hindi na natin asahan na sumubra pa tayo kasi filing na ho namin sa October. Pag naging 100 yung bigas, hindi lang si Pangulo ang tatamaan. Diba? Sabihin ng mga constituents namin, ikaw, Mr. Chairman, ba't wala kang ginawa? Hindi mo tinulungan yung DA para maging effective sila. Yun isa yan ha. So, nandito kami para tumulong. Now, kung hindi kayo mag-submit sa amin kung anong gusto nyo baguhin para to address kung ano yung shortfall at saka yung price squeeze natin for next year, wala kami magawa. Kung hindi, we will lay the blame on you. But today, we are not finding faults. Kasi you explain fully na ganyan ang nangyayari. Sige, accepted na yun. Pero sana, by next year, sana masurpass natin yung Disyembre na hindi man lang lumagpas sa 70 yung presyo ng bigas. Okay, sana. Okay. By next year, we're hoping that all your forecasts, all your PSA figures are correct. Then, siyempre, we hope that Vietnam and Thailand will open up a little bit. We know they are short of water now and production has really gone down, which I have warned this committee January, February pa to already encourage imports. Nobody listen to me because I'm a dirty old man talking talking nonsense. May opisina ako sa Vietnam. Meron akong listening post doon. Meron din ako mga kaibigan sa Thailand. So, nalalaman ko yung world market. So, okay. So, ang atin lang, Mr. Chair, we don't want na next year, hindi lang si Pangulo affected nito. Pati tayo, mga congressman kayo, wala kayong ginawa dyan. O 100 ang presyo ng bigas, mag-resign na kayo. Ayaw namin nun. Gusto namin, ibigay namin sa inyo kung ano yung kailangan ninyo para kayo yung mag-resign pag hindi ninyo. Tama ba? Si Cleo? Kasi daldal tayo ng daldal dito pagkatapos hindi namin binigay kung ano yung tool na kailangan ninyo, eh siyempre, sisihin nyo kami. Di ba? Mintas nandito kami, nandito sa chairman, pag-aralan namin yun. Ano ba naman yun? Kung walang mag-iimbita over lunch or dinner, I will always be available para mapag-usapan natin yan. Kayo, one team sa agriculture. Kami din dito sa Committee ng Agriculture. Mapag-usapan natin para paisalang natin yan by next year. So, point number 2 yun. Number 3 po, yung sinasabi kong wag sana maging 100 ang presyo ng bigas, even in Metro Manila, kasi sunura na po yan eh. So, siguruhin lang ninyo na wala tayong sisihan. Dahil sigurado, meron na kayong Secretary of Agriculture ngayon, eh, siyempre, hindi na kayo pwede magturo. Wala kami Secretary of Agriculture. Ganito lang sinabi ng Presidente. Ayun si Cleo, I'm particularly referring this to you na kung maaari, bigay mo sa amin yung pangangailangan mo and then pagtulungan natin na hindi abot 100 ang presyo ng bigas by next year. Because to tell you very honestly, if Thailand and Vietnam do not loosen up on their exports, very possible yung 100 by next year. Kasi I'm always flying Palawan has large, yung especially in distrito ko, 50,000 hectares of rice land from Aburlan down to Batarasa, Rizal, and Quezon. Naawa ako sa mga farmers. Kitang-kita ko, hindi lahat nakatanim eh. Bakit? Meron ang traktora. Eh, mahal naman ang diesel. Tapos, mayroon kaming isang squeeze doon. Yung tourism namin sa north is drawing the southern people. Yung mga farmers namin. Sino gusto mo magtanim ng palay like Palawan? At na-open up ko na kay Admin Gillian, natulungan na yung Palawan ngayon. Kakausapin ko na Secretary Vico na kung maaari, bigyan ng pansin yung 50,000 hectares namin sa Palawan dahil halos walang bagyo doon sa south. And easily, with true croppings, we can produce 1 million tons. Ang production namin doon, 60, 70 lang pinakamaganda yung si Cleo. Bakit? Sama-sama ang soil namin. Kulang sa fertilization. And imbis na planting rice na magandang distansya, wala akong nakikita ngayon. Very, very siguro, wala pang 10% of the 50,000 hectares in the south are planting the correct way of planting. Sabog lang yung si Cleo, which, alam mo naman ang sabog. Sa sabog doon, maswerte na makakuha ka ng 50, 60 kabans per hectare na palay. So, lastly, yung area ko sa Palawan na 50,000 hectares, pag-usapan namin ni Admin Gillian at saka tuloy na ako ay secretary. Sana nandyan ka, si Cleo, pag-usapan natin. Kasi I can produce with the right inputs, with the right, kasi sabi ko, yung pressure namin sa tourism, ang isang farm worker nung araw, nagsusweldo ngayon ng 800 pesos per day. Anong ginagawa? Patikin-tikin lang ng bangka. Bakit? Dami namin turista sa north. So, anong gagawin natin? We have to solve this problem. I'm talking about my parochial concern. Problem in Palawan dahil I can contribute the 50,000 hectares in the south. I can contribute 1 million kabans. Sayang. Sayang. So yun lang, Mr. Chair. Wala naman ako masyadong basta wag na nila tayo sisihin after we give them all the tools. Naging 100 pa yung presyo. Ay,
Chair Alvarez,
yes, ma'am.
siguro po para magtulungan tayo, isa sa kailangan natin gawin, hingan talaga natin sa DBM na taasan ng budget ng agriculture.
Wala mang problema. Kaya dapat magagaling sa kanila.
Kasi kayang talon-talo tayo ng Vietnam, Thailand. Ang taas ng national budget nila for their Department of Agriculture. Tayo,
Tama po yun.
kulelat.
Tama po yun.
Dapat magbawas sa DPWH, bigay sa DA.
Budget. Yeah,
Right?
Yes.
Yusek, you're like,
Mr. Chair.
you're doing so much with so little resources.
Sa amin po kasi sa Bulacan, may nakakausap po kami ng mga magsasaka. So ang sinasabi po nila, bakit hindi bili ng gobyerno o ng NFA directly yung palay sa magsasaka sa tamang presyo? Kasi kung makikita po natin, gumagamit po kayo ng pondo po ng bayan, ng budget ng bayan, ibinibili niyo po ng pataba. Ibinibigay niyo po sa magsasaka. Sa totoo lang po, napakapangit ng pataba pong ipinamimigay ng ng gobyerno po natin. Ngayon po, nagbibigay din po kayo ng mga makina, ang DA. Pero kung ibigay niyo naman po, taon ang inaabot. At kung pupunta nga po kayo sa warehouse ng DA, makikita niyo po doon yung mga makinarya na inulat inaraw, pumapakat na yung makina. Ay bakit ayaw pa pong ipamigay ng pakinabangan po ng ating po mga magsasaka? Nagbibigay din po kayo ng subsidy po, ng voucher po sa atin sa fuel. So, yung mga pera po na yan, ginagamit natin bilang tulong, ayuda sa magsasaka. Pero ang hinihingi ng magsasaka, bilhin nyo na sa kanila ng direkta. Pag binili nyo po kasi na ng direkta sa tamang presyo, makakaipon sila ng pera eh. Makabibili sila ng pataba na gusto nila, hindi yung gusto ninyong ipamigay. At baka kung kumita po sila ng maganda, baka sila na rin ang bumili ng makinarya. Hindi po hintayin yung parang awa na ginagawa nyo silang kawawa na iniintay po yung makina. Ayaw nyo pa pong ipamigay yung makina. At baka dumating din po yung pagkakataon na ang magsasaka mismo, hindi na nila ibebenta yung kanilang lupa para maging subdivision, para maging industrial or commercial area. Kasi nabibili ng tama, nagkakapera po sila. Yun nga po, pinag-uusapan, dadagdagan ng pondo nyo. Saan nyo po gagamitin? Di ba? Magpapamigay na naman kayo ng bigas. Anong klaseng bigas? Nagpamigay nga po kayong bigas minsan sa mga guro. Ang pangit po ng bigas na pinamigay. Sabi nga ng mga guro, sabi nga ng mga guro, sana ginawa nyo na lang 2,000. Kami ang bumili ng bigas na kaya naming kainin. Hindi ko ano na lang po ang ibinibigay. So nasubukan nyo na po ba? Nagkaroon na po ba kayo ng pilot study na bilhin mismo sa magsasaka sa tamang halaga yung kanila pong palay? At wag na po silang pakialaman sa fertilizer. Sila na bibili. Nagawa nyo na po ba yun?
Yusek Leo? Sa bigas, I think sa machineries, may katanungan
Mr.
yata.
Chair, Madam Congresswoman.
Yes po.
We are actually changing I agree with a lot of your observations about fertilizers, etc. That's why the way we are moving now, Mr. Chair and Madam Congresswoman, is that we would like farmers' choice when it comes to fertilizer.
Excuse me, pero hindi nyo po binibigay yung tama eh.
You know, we are moving towards farmers' choice. So we are clustering farms and providing them the voucher, not the paper voucher anymore, the digital voucher using the registration once they are clustered.
Pero sino po masusunod dun sa pataba? Kayo pa rin po ba?
No,
Kayo
it will be
mag-specify what kind of
farmer's
fertilizer
choice.
they will use?
Farmer's choice.
So farmer's choice.
There will be a voucher and they can go to the merchant and select the fertilizer that they want, which is suitable to their condition. And we are moving towards that direction because we are seeing that we are missing a lot of technologies more appropriate and more desired by the farmers. We've tested a lot of technologies, but every now and then we do bidding. And the bidder, the product that usually win during bidding is the cheapest. But the cheapest is not necessarily the most appropriate one. So we are moving away from that by going into the digital voucher. It will be linked to their ID. There's a Philippine. I have a sample here, Madam Chair. It's like this one. It has a chip, and it also has a QR code. So farmers have this ID. They are clustered. They can join together and negotiate as one to any merchant and select the fertilizer or fertilizer.
Mr. Chair, how can they avail that card?
This is part of the budget that has been approved by Congress, part of the GAB for 2024. So we will start implementing this with the 2024 budget.
Tanong ko lang, Yusek Leo, dagdag ko lang, kung kasama ka sa RSBSA, entitled ka sa card na yan?
Yes. And,
so, may member mo na po kayo?
Farmers are already members, Madam Chair, Madam Congresswoman.
Ay, paano po yung direktang pagbili ng pali po sa magsasaka?
That is the program that NFA is trying to do also, Madam Congresswoman, except that because of the very high price of palay this year, they were not able to buy so much. But that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to link, for example, the assistance that we are providing to the procurement of NFA. So, for example, since NFA is always being out-competed by the private sector, we are trying to link the assistance that we are providing, the subsidies that we are providing to the farmers, to them selling also to NFA. We would like to encourage farmers to sell because NFA has to maintain a buffer stock.
Siguro po sir, pwede nyo tanggalin yung ibang mga sa tingin nyo ay nakatutulong pero hindi naman. Idagdag nyo sa pambili po ng palay. Directly sa magsasaka at the right price po.
Mr. Chair, in behalf of NFA, we consulted our farmers, including, in fact, KMP, about the prices. And we determined that the win-win solution that for NFA to increase from 19 pesos to 23, because more than that, it's going to be a big burden now to the consumers because NFA, in effect, will also influence the private sector in buying even higher. NFA normally exceeds its buying target because of Republic Act 7607, the Magna Carta of Small Farmers. The government is supposed to give a guaranteed price to the farmers. So kung satisfied sila, tatakbuhan sila, that's the safety net of the farmer. As much as 14 billion we bought in 2019, 2020, double the original budget of NFA. So we covered it through borrowings. We have a 50 billion credit line with Land Bank and DBP to make sure that if there is a queue, for farmers willing to or wanted to buy, to sell their produce to NFA, even if we exceed our budget because we have an open-ended budget because of that guarantee that we give, the government guarantee to the farmers. So only recently that we were not able to buy in the last 2 years, because the price of NFA is not competitive, compared to the private sector. Costs have already gone up and prices of palay has already gone up. That's why we updated. But as much as we want to have a higher price for our farmers, even at 25 pesos, but that would spell 50 pesos retail price, which is not consistent with our declaration on the price cap, which is only 41 to 45. And at that price, yung cost kasi ng farmers as shown 15 pesos lang. At 23, they're making already 8 pesos. So sa 4 tons per hectare, they can easily make more than 30,000 per season. But at that level, that's only the safety net na revenue for the farmers. So kung makakabenta sila ng mas mataas sa private sector, then well and good. We've done our part already as government, no? Because we're parang sinasangga na ng gobyerno yung presyo. Nung nagkaroon ng price up, bumagsak yan below 21 pesos to ang presyo ng palay at the start nung harvest season nung September. And that's why the president was quick enough to make sure that that fall in palay prices should be corrected by increasing the guaranteed price of NFA. No? Ginawang 23, but as soon as the price cap was released, the true value of the palay or the intrinsic value sumipa yon to 24, 25, no? Thereby making NFA irrelevant in the market, no, because farmers are making more money outside government na procurement price, no. So yun yung nangyayari sa atin doon, because we're also limited by our policies that we cannot chase after the palay prices. If palay prices are already high enough for farmers to be happy, according to our president, why should we bring it up even higher and we become inflationary? No? And inflation should not be driven by government, but by the private sector. Hayaan tumaas. Kung tumaas talaga yung presyo ng palay, and then thereby the rice prices, that is because of the market. It's not because of government anymore. No? So magiging kasalanan pa yan ng gobyerno kung ang gobyerno ang nagpapataas. At nangyari na yan sa Indonesia, and that's why they surrendered and they just corrected it by importing. No? Kasi para ma-expand yung supply and ma-correct yung stability ng supply and hopefully mag-stabilize yung price ng bigas nila. No? And that's also the same course supposedly NFA should do. No? But unfortunately, with RTL, we can leave it only to the private sector. Pag hindi naman sila mag-import because prices are too high in the world market, then we will be all tying up our hands. No? Now, we leave it up to the mercy of the market for prices to go up. No? And then, tawag nito, yung inability natin and the dilemma of the administration, if we put up an emergency, that will even panic when there's enough supply for everybody. But the problem, of course, there's a tight supply. When there's tight supply, there's always a pressure, upward pressure sa prices, and that we cannot help. That's part of the dynamics ng market. And the only way talaga is to bring in more supply into the market para bumaba yung presyo. No? So, ang problema lang, kahit na maglagay tayo ng supply from abroad, no, to expand the supply, mahal naman din yung galing sa abroad. And that will even exacerbate the problem because, in a sense, because that will dictate also local prices. Ang kinatatakutan lang namin as a risk management agency, yung palay kasi natin sa September, October, November, dapat paabutin natin yan ng March, no? Kung walang masyadong importation, baka maubos yan earlier, no? So we can only produce 10 months of our national consumption. So we need to import, no? So we need to import as much as 2.5 to 3 months of our consumption to stabilize supply and hence stabilize price, no, in the process. So yun yung dilemma because we cannot simply intervene in the market. Yes, we are still, as an agency, tasked to stabilize palay prices in favor of our farmers, and which we did. And I think, in fairness sa NFA, especially in the last 4 years, they did a good job on that. But in the last, in terms of rice prices, milled rice, hindi na trabaho yun ng NFA, no? So it's market-driven supposedly, and that was the nature of the RTL. And for me personally, that's good if things are normal. When things are not normal, it's not appropriate for that kind of law. And unfortunately, things are not normal in these days with climate change, geopolitical tensions, supply chain disruption through pandemic or whatever, war and trade sanctions. So many things are ongoing that we have to protect ourselves and the government should be armed to intervene in the market. It cannot be purist that you just allow the private sector to correct the market. And that's, I think, the weakness of that law. No? So somehow the government, the administration, has to be able to come up with the tools it needs to intervene and correct the market. And that's what many nations are doing, especially our neighbor Indonesia. No? They strengthen their NFA, no, in preparation for all this disruption, starting nung pandemic, while we're trying to cut naman ang sa atin. No? So moving this different opposite direction. So that's why we're trying to introduce now that legislation, no, proposed legislation to Congress, no, to correct that. But in the meantime, we are also under pressure that we cannot price too high. No? When we go to the Senate, we got a lot of flack why we increase it to 23 pesos. No? And I think we had a discussion with the group, no, with several leaders, including Kapaeng Mariano, that that price 23 was supposed to be the win-win solution. No? And yet, of course, we didn't realize that prices really went up as much as 26 to 30 pesos. So making us irrelevant in the market. But that's not a bad thing by itself. We should be happy for our farmers, no, who are struggling with the high cost of production. So yun yung stand natin, ma'am, sa Your Honor, sa when it comes to NFA. And we're a different type of agency because we're supposed to handle risk management as well.
Yes,
Last
please,
question.
Kong Lia.
Yeah. Are you in favor of extending the 10 billion funding for rice farmers from the tariffs that we get from the imported rice once we amend this? Because the rice tarification law, it only has a 6-year period for using the tariffs from the imported rice to empower and improve the efficiency of our local farmers. Will that be in your proposal to extend that 6-year fund, 10 billion fund for local rice, for Filipino rice farmers exclusively? Well, maybe that's
Mr.
not for
Chair,
you.
yeah, this is just probably my opinion, and I might be wrong, but we have already discussion about retaining some of the features of RCEP. No? We're now already generating more than 20 billion. In fact, this year maybe close to 30 billion, no, from the tariff of rice because of the high prices and the bigger volume. No? So yung first 10 billion of that is guaranteed, no, under RCEP for special procurement, for seeds, equipment, and other stuff. No? And then the rest is for the RFFA, no? Rice Farmer Financial Assistance. And this is where the president is thinking that, it would be more efficient if a big portion of that will be channeled through NFA, so that NFA will be able to buy more at a higher price, to buy more palay, to make sure that we have a buffer stock in the process because of that dilemma. So yun ang tinitingnan ngayon ng Pangulo, and we're waiting for full discussion on that, on how we will request Congress for the amendments in the law.
Yes, and I think in one hearing, it was also Chair Enverga that mentioned that maybe it would be a good idea to all the beneficiaries of like the equipment that PhilMec has been giving and all the subsidies that the DA has given, farmers should allocate a certain portion of their produce. I think, Mr. Chair, you said mga 25% at a fair price, like 22, 23. Means so they give back rent to the government. Not everything will be sold at a profit. I mean, that's something, Mr. Chair, I remember that's something you recommended. Yes. I hope you include that in your proposed amendments.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Be sure that makakain ng tao yung rice coming from NFA. Kasi there's a wrong connotation na when it's NFA, parang ang pangit, hindi mo talaga makakain. So just be sure that the people can eat the rice.
yes, I think may mga interventions na kayo, admin. dun sa
Yeah.
mga inaamag, yung ano, yun
Yeah.
nga, one of the concerns din sa DSWD nung 4-piece beneficiaries we encountered a long time ago. So I'm sure you have
I would like to reply on that, Mr. Chair, no, Your Honor. We've completed almost 800,000 sacks, no, 50 kilo equivalent per sack. Distribution under the one-time rice allowance given by the President, no, to all government employees, no. And in particular for the teachers, we've already worked closely with DepEd that all the withdrawal of NFA rice for that program, they have to check from our warehouse for the quality, no? And then if ever
Excuse me, who will check that?
yung
Yung teacher?
yung mga focal person nila, no, like in one school they send a representative to check all the
Hindi,
rice.
why do you have to check that? Why don't you give the best for the teachers?
Yes, we were giving the best, Your
Eh,
Honor.
So, ba't kailan pa pong i-check?
Hindi, just to make sure so that all complete staff work.
Not to make sure, be sure.
Yeah.
That you give the best to the teachers. Bakit
Yeah.
i-check pa? De doble trabaho po sa teacher yan.
There are some other documentary concerns, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, and we also guarantee to them that if they have complaints or they're not satisfied with the quality, we will be replacing the
When?
the
Right
rice,
away?
no.
On
Sorry.
that day? Or they have to go back for another day? They
Yeah.
have to come back?
Yeah, we have assigned nag-assign sila ng mga focal person sa amin
No,
na para
sir.
kung may mga complaints
No, sir. Excuse me. Pagdating po sa mga guro, bigyan na po natin yung the best.
Yes.
Huwag na po tayong
Yes.
pabalikin pa sila kasi merong complaint. Why don't you give the best to the teachers? That's my point, Mr. Chair.
Yes, we gave the best, ma'am.
Bakit kailangan
And-
may focal person just to be sure that your rice is of good quality, di ba?
They have focal person, Your Honor, because they might be withdrawing 50 sacks, no, not one sack at a time, no. So they arrange for the delivery of the trucks of the rice, no. So may binubuo nila yan grupo-grupo, no. So meron silang representative for each group, usually by school level. And kung merong mga complaints, they tell us, no. So we will be glad to replace them. And so far we have not received any complaints, no, from them. So kung meron mga complaints, ma'am, please let us know, no. So for now, there is no record of complaints. There were some, yeah, actually, but we addressed that already. But very, very small number. And meron naman talagang kung may nakakuan doon, naka-mix doon na ano ba, somehow na-miss doon sa pag-check. But we already told them that we would be glad to replace. But so far, we have no official complaint that was not addressed.
Kong Tina, galing to definitely sa NFA Bulacan, ano?
Opo, nag-complain po sila. Sana pinera na lang daw sila bumili ng rice nila.
Oh, anyway,
Kasi in the
admin,
first
baka you could
place-
just have a look, ano? Can you talk to the manager of the particular branch? Paki-check naman ho yung ano.
Oo,
Kasi may mga issues lang na, 'di ba? Para ma-double check lang yung stock and the storage, ano.
kasi inintay po nila, whole day nilang naintay sa buong maghapon eh. Then they will receive na pangit na rice. Di
So,
ba?
yes, can we get your commitment from NFA?
At saka
Paki-double check, baka mamaya there are other stocks na ganun din ng ano,
Opo.
yung currently.
Kasi during the time, ang president pa po natin ang secretary during the time. So mapipintasan po ang ating pong Pangulo sa kapabayaan po ng binigay na NFA rice ng NFA. Kasi hindi ko makita yung logic, i-check. Bakit i-check? Ibibigay mo nga sa teacher eh. Dapat maganda na yun in the first place.
Yes, Your Honor, that was the presumption. So we will be glad to investigate, and hopefully we could identify where the source of the problem is. No? But for now, we have not received any formal complaint that we have not addressed. So, yun na nga ang yun na nga problema, ma'am. That's why we're trying to...
Hindi nga, masyado kayo sa theory. Bakit mo kailangang i-check? Ibibigay mo na nga sa guro yun. Ano yan, pag ibinigay, sa guro mo na nga ibibigay sa teachers, ba't kailangan pang i-check na maganda? In the first place, dapat maganda na yun. Puro tayo theories eh. Burikiin mo na yan, pagpangit, wag mong ipamigay. Pag may patawag mo ng mga teachers, burikiin mo. Pag maganda, tawagin mo, pamigay mo na. So simple as that. Ang daming explanation eh. Mr.
Address that I be recognized. Actually, the rice that we are issuing to government employees through OTRA are the best quality of rice. Ito, kaya namin pinakikita sa kanila because before it leaves our warehouses, nakita nila yung quality. Mahirap kasi kung nasa labas na ang bigas, saka kami mag-argumento sa quality. We really choose the best quality NFA rice para dyan. In fact, we milled our stocks in Mindoro para madala dito sa NCR para lang dyan sa OTRA. Yun po ang instruction kasi ibigay ang best quality. So ang amin lang purpose doon why we ask representatives to see before we release in our warehouses the quality of stocks that we gave them.
Anyway, we expect nothing less but the yung compliance from the request of the Honorable Tina Pancho. So admin, can we get a report trend? Baka pwede mag-random check yung warehouses po ninyo doon. So at least malinawan din kami So thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Yusek DV.
Yeah, naiinggit na ako sa sa mga sinasabi nila because na-concentrate tayo masyado sa rice. Sa livestock medyo na yung livestock kasi, Mr. Chair, sa tingin ko kulang kami. We want to increase the stocks, genetics, embryo. Maraming programa. So we are appealing to the committee, especially the chair, na pansinin niyo kahit 10% lang idagdag niyo dun sa ilang ba yung rice natin. 100 million. Kahit 10% bigay nyo sa amin. Kaya namin gawin yan.
Would like to direct my question to the DA or to NFA. Around July, August, or September, we were promised na rice prices will stabilize after the harvest season, like around November, December, about this month. Ang problema, nung pag-ikot po namin ni Speaker, wala po kami nakitang bumaba na presyo ng bigas. Rice prices maintained at 52 plus 60. May nakita po kami trader or retailer na nagbenta at 46, 48. Siya lang po mag-iisa. The reason when he was asked was simply na mataas pa rin po ang bigas eh. I don't know if it was NFA or DA or the traders were saying bababa ho ito. Everybody was anticipating bababa ang presyo ng bigas because mag-aani. Whatever happened to that Department of Agriculture or NFA doon sa promise na bababa, and people were waiting. Kaya nga naglagay pa po tayo ng rice price cap ang Pangulo wala rin. So whatever happened to that? Bakit hindi po bumaba?
May we get a reaction, Yusek Leo? Who would be best to answer the query of the Honorable Tulfo? Admin Rod?
Mr. Chair, yes, for NFA. Actually, we expected July, August, September to be the season, the lean season, and traditionally prices go up during that period. Normally, we harvest about a little over 8 million tons of palay in the first half. And at that time, I think the PSA report was a little higher. And that could provide us about 4 or 5 months of consumption. But the next harvest season is 7 months away. So there's always that supply gap, which is addressed by importation. Now, as a country, the whole year, we produce normally 10 months of consumption, and we normally import about 2.5 months of rice to cover that shortfall in local production. In fact, in 2022, we imported 1 month more compared to 2021. So it may be an indication that there's a shortfall in production between 2021 2022, although it's not reflected in the official statistics. So we couldn't, as we're supposed to be governed by official data through our PSA. So, but our agency, just because we're a risk management agency, so we have to apprise the president, the secretary at the same time about the risk that we may be facing, despite what are the official figures. So one of them is the low uptake of fertilizer among our farmers, and that would spell a big difference in yield. So those are risks. And then also, of course, because of the speculation of the lower production, not just locally, but internationally because of El Nino, there will be positioning of inventories, not just by the private sector, but also among countries, in their government, to put up bigger buffer stocks. In particular, Indonesia, that announced late in March that they will buy at least 2 million tons, and that would spell a big difference in the market, because Indonesia has not imported significantly in the past 4 years. So there would be price pressure in the world market, and that somehow would also pull up the prices when Vietnam and Thailand finish their dry season crop after April 20 of this year. So after that, there's a rising trend. Although there's another production towards May, June in Vietnam, but the price pressure because of Indonesia was too much, and prices in the world market went up, and that coincided also in the low supply of our country. July, August, September. Somehow the import parity this time is higher than the landed cost is higher than for imported than the local production. So all of this confluence of factors pushed up our prices in the market. Now it's only sometime in September, late September, that we're starting to harvest again, and there were some already reprieve in the prices, and yet still there is an upward pressure in the market. Now, as NFA itself, operation of NFA, we're limited to calamity relief. We're still tasked to provide stability in palay prices in favor of our farmers by giving them the minimum price. Guaranteed
Yes,
price.
just to, I'm sorry,
Yes.
admin. May I inquire kung magkano po nagastos ninyo dun yung sa pambili natin, itong sa harvest season? Because the last time we met, I think August, tama ba yung si Cleo?
Yeah.
You still had 8.5 billion of the 9 billion pesos.
Yes,
Sa
Mr. Chair.
procurement.
Yeah.
So, itong season na to, magkano nang disburse ninyo?
Ang na-disburse natin for the year, for the season.
For the year.
For the season.
For the season.
So it's about 1.2 billion.
About 1.2 billion lang, no?
So Director, which means you still have 7 billion
Yes.
patapos na ang taon.
Yeah.
Hindi nyo nagamit.
Well, ang problema kasi natin sa NFA, we're setting guaranteed floor price for our farmers. And that is also our ceiling buying price. So when there's a price pressure, kung mataas yung sa labas, there's no chance talaga for us to buy. the presumption then is there's a surplus in supply wherein prices would soften down to that below the guaranteed price, and we're going to save the farmer. In the process, then we build up our buffer stock. But then if prices are very high outside, then there's no chance unless that we will chase after the price. No, we wanted, actually, we increased it to 23. We wanted 25 or even higher. But that is going to be inflationary on the part of the government. No? So, and we don't want that. We just buy 5-10% of the market. That's our target. Yet, it will influence the 90-95% of the market, which we do not want also. So, as presided by the President in our last NFA Council meeting, they would not allow that us to chase after the price. Otherwise, it will aggravate price pressure. And that happened already this year in Indonesia, wherein they increased twice their minimum buying price on from the farmers, and yet they were only able to buy less than 5% of their target. So they were not able to buy. That's why they decided just for government to import, regardless of what's the effect of that in the world market. So in
Mr.
other
Chair.
words, we haven't bought our target.
Mr. Chair, I'll just limit my questions, like 1 to 2 questions for the NFA, and then we go to the eggs kasi marami tayong mga kasama na nakapila. Administrator, Mr. Chair, so we've heard the problem. Mataas, etc., konti, ani. So what do we plan to do with this? Ang importante is the reason why we're here. That's why this hearing is called, to find a solution na magiging affordable ng bigas ngayong magpapasko December. Magiging affordable yung mga itlog. So what do we plan to do? Do you have any solution for now? Lalo yung sinasabi niyo ho na meron pa pala kayong natitirang budget na ilang bilyon. Hindi ba pwedeng gamitin yung pambili to ease up itong walang respite sa presyo ng bigas? Can we do something about it? That's what our people would want to hear. Ang gusto lang nila marinig sa Kongreso, sa committee na ito, bababa ang presyo ng bigas. Can we do that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. No, ang recommendation natin sa Presidente for immediate, we have also for the next cropping season, to expand production under the National Rice Program. But in the meantime, we're trying to expand supply. NFA buying local will not expand supply. It will be coming from the same pool. So palay prices have shot up to 30 pesos, as much as 30 pesos already. And we cannot be party to that. Inflation cannot be driven by government. It should be market driven. So our solution is to make that supply expand. So the function of NFA is no longer allowed. I mean, we're no longer allowed to import. So we can only make policy recommendation. Now, traditionally, we import from Vietnam and Thailand, and prices have gone up so high. So our recommendation to keep Vietnam and Thailand prices in check is to seek alternative supply. And since India actually banned the export of rice since July 20, non-basmati rice, but they allowed for a G2G na transactions for humanitarian purposes, and they did allow us to 295,000 metric tons of white rice to be exempted from the ban, and that is on a G2P, government to private sector arrangement, and we're encouraging the importers to avail of that so that we will be able to expand our traditional source of supply, not just from Vietnam and Thailand, but also India, which plays a big part in the supply in the world market. So the talks are already ongoing. We're going to have initial shipments from India within this month of December. But there's still some resistance, Your Honor, because of the perception that Indian rice quality is inferior and would not, of course, match Vietnam and Thailand. Yet the prices from India is still very, very high. They were hoping that prices are lower but India imposed 20% export tariff, to keep also on their part 20% export tariff that will add another $100 in their prices, because they want also to tame their domestic prices to go below $400 ex mil because of inflation purposes, and it's a big election issue for India. So those are the things. But for now, what we're looking at, we hope to get alternative sources and expand supply. And then cost might be somehow, hopefully later on, will be tempered by the additional supply, although we know that prices in the world market is going to be very, very tough for our consumers.
So, Mr. Chair, in short, what are you telling us na bababa ang presyo ng bigas ngayong December? When the Indian import?
I think, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, together with the renewed interest to import, because we encourage the industry to play their part, because we need to import around 320,000 tons or 300,000 tons a month to keep the supply stable. And hopefully with that, we can keep the prices stable too, as a fact. But October, November, volume went down. Also last July yata bumagsak din to below our targets in terms of supply stability. What we can say, Your Honor, is actually we will have more supply by December. Prices is something that we hope that will go down, but considering that there is no more supply from the local market, these are all secondary trade already going into the intercity and Golden City at 30 pesos. Unfortunately, there will still be a challenge in the prices of rice for December. But what we want is stability in supply first.
All right, Mr. Chair, before I go to the egg board, may I call on a representative from PRISM? Tama po ba yung farm gate price? Kasi narinig po, nag-meeting po tayo dati, if you can recall, di po ba? Bago po naglabas ng price cap, temporary lang po ito, sabi ninyo, bababa din ito. Whatever happened to that? Tama po ba itong farm gate price ngayon? Kasi ang sinisisi ng retailer, mataas daw po yung farm gate. What happened?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to all the members of the committee. Yun pong sinabi na sa presyo ng farm gate price. After po ng ating meeting, we had a price cap. And at the time, ang presyo po ng palay noon ay, ng bigas rather, is mataas talaga. Pero sinasabi po natin na mag-harvest season na at that time, and we're expecting that magpo-progress to dahil nga po dadating na yung presyo ng mababang presyo ng palay. During the time of 2 weeks po ng price cap, nag-struggle po talaga ang ating mga stakeholders. Sinalo po namin ng mga traders, ng rice millers, and then ng retailers ang price cap. And pero nakabili po kami ng presyo na at that time about 17, 18, 19, which is good, up to 20. Nung nagbigay po ng presyo na nagdagdag ng presyo ang NFA ng up to 23 pesos, that was actually okay. However, nun pong nag-announce din po, hindi naman po sa lahat ng buong bansa ang pagbili ng NFA ng 23 plus 2 plus 1 na incentive, I think particularly in Ilocos region. It also affected the price na nag-shoot up na naman po yung presyo. Ngayon po, ang presyo ng fresh, halos wala na po kasi ngayon. So, umabot po sa up to 24, 25 pesos ang fresh. Depende na po sa klase. Pero sa ngayon po, halos wala na, hindi na nagmamatter kung premium siya or rumble, because ang ano lang po natin is makakuha ng supply. Tama po yung mga binanggit na kanina, the 30 pesos na ang presyo ng palay sa dry. At wala na po halos na mabili. And that is the reason why po kung bakit mataas yung presyo ng ating supposedly nung ating lift po tayo ng ban after that, pero yun nga po nag-shoot up na naman yung mga presyo. It's because of that. And konti pa lang din po yung mga nagdadatingan ng imported rice, which actually affected yun pong presyo natin dahil po sa supply. Konti ang supply natin.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one last question para sa egg board naman. Ano ho solusyon na nakikita niyo rito? Because 10 piso yung isang itlog, nag-ikot po kayo sa farmers, yung large, yung medium, 9, yung small, 8.50. Last year lang ho, nasa 6-7 lang ho yun. Bakit biglang sumirit na ng sumirit? Can we do something about it? Lalo ho magpapasko, marami pong gumagamit ng itlog. Halos, tsaka Pilipino, alternative ngayon. Yung alternative is itlog yung ulam sa umaga ho. Wala na ho yung mga tuyo. Itlog, kaso mo napakamahal na. Can we do something about this so para mapababa ito mong itlog?
Sir, first of all, ang kagandahan po sa layer industry, unlike sa broiler and sa swine, pinaka-resilient po ang layer industry. Mabilis pong mag-adapt or mag-correct yung industry. Like ngayon, sabi ko nga kanina, confident po kami na tumataas na po yung supply. Tumataas na po yung currently tumataas na po yung number of birds ngayon. Hanggang next year, actually ang worry nga po namin by next year may oversupply na po eh. Mabilis po ang reaction po sa layer industry, sir, no? Pero to help the industry, para sa amin po, no, if we could fast track po yung processing po natin noong importation or yung availability po ng bird flu vaccine, malaki po yung peace of mind na ibibigay po ito sa mga farmers at makakapag full load na po in terms of capacity ang ating mga farmers, no. Marami pong problema pero tingin ko po isa-isa po we could start po. Ang major po kasi dito for us sa association namin is yung issue po sa bird flu.
We had tasked the committee secretariat to draft a resolution urging the House of Representatives and the Senate of the Philippines to increase the budget of NIA for 2024 to finance water impounding projects to help boost agriculture production in the country. So we need to take action on this. May I recognize the Honorable Tina Pancho?